Hello everyone and welcome to this video on the best tactic for Manchester United in FM23. And we are going to be testing out 3 tactics today from very big tactic creators, and these are some of the most popular tactics on FM Scout. You won't want to miss this. 3 separate tactics, all unique tactics. It's going to be 3 very similar formations to keep it kind of relevant. We're going to see how these tactics perform in the league, in Europe, and if there's any trophies won, and compare them at the end and finally decide what is the best tactic for Manchester United. But now let's get into the tactics we will be testing on this video. The first tactic we will be looking at in this tactics video is the ultimate 4-2-3-1 by Josh Daly. Josh Daly puts out a lot of very good tactics, especially 4-2-3-1, so I have a lot of high hopes for this tactic in this video. It starts off with a sweeper keeper on tackle harder, take more risks, 2 ball playing centre backs on tackle harder, a right wing back on cross more often, cross from byline, cross aim centre and stay wider, and the same for the left wing back as well. Now, my favourite role on Football Manager 2023, a deep line playmaker on support, tackle harder, mark tighter. And then you don't see this very often in tactics, but a standard central midfield player with dribble more, roam from position, move into the channels and tackle harder. As you can see, there is a theme here and the intensity is very high. So you know you're going to have to rest the players a lot using this tactic. But you've got an inverted winger on the right hand side and on the left hand side as well, with cross more often, cross aim centre, stay wider, tackle harder. And an engash, something you don't see very often. A one I love very much with shoot more often, get further forward and tackle harder, with the advanced forward being shoot more often and tackle harder. It's an attacking tactic, so straight off the bat you are going to be attacking teams. It's a fairly narrow tactic with play out of defence and overlap down the wings, mix crossing, work the ball into the box, be more expressive, and there's the higher tempo we love to see from tactics from Josh. And then in transition, counter press, counter, distribute quickly, distribute to fullbacks and the centre backs, take short kicks. It's all about high press, high intensity football. We love to see these kind of things here. And then this is the defensive shape here with prevent short goalkeeper distribution much more often and get stuck in. And here's the intensity. It is a big balling tactic. You will have to rest players, but let me know in the comments how you think this tactic will do in this video. And if you haven't already, do like the video and do sub to the channel if you have made it this far already. The second tactic is the GOAT of all tactics, in my personal opinion. It is the Swanzola. It is the latest version of the Swanzola at time of recording this video. It is a positive tactic with a goalkeeper on defend with take fewer risks and tackle harder, 2 ball playing defenders with the standard instructions, a wing back attack on the right hand side with sit narrower, and a wing back on the left hand side with sit narrower but on support. Box-to-box midfield player with roam from position in central midfield on support. Meticulously on support with dribble more added. It's an inverted winger on the right-hand side with shoot less often, sit narrower and tackle harder. An advanced playmaker with the standard instructions on. An inside forward with sit narrower and tackle harder. And then everyone's favourite role on Football Manager 23, it's an advanced forward because they score so many goals with take more risks and dribble more. It's fairly wide tactic with short passing, high tempo, run of the defence, work the ball into the box with mixed crossing in transition. It is a counter press, counter. It is distribute to fullbacks, take short kicks. Out of possession, here is the defensive shape here. Prevent short goalkeeper distribution much more often with the trigger of the press and get stuck in. Not as intense as the Josh 4-2-3-1, but one of the best tactics on the game in my opinion. The last tactic, I wanted to go a little bit rogue, and I found another Josh Daly tactic replicating Zerbi's Brighton. And Zerbi is a manager that is being spoken about in big roles. So one day he could end up at Man United, especially if they struggle under Ten Hag this season. Could we see Zerbi at United? This is your first look at a potential Roberto Zerbi side at Manchester United this season. It's a sweeper keeper with no added instructions. Ball playing defenders with take more risk and hold positions at centre backs. Wing back on support, both sides, stay wider, mark tighter. 2 holding midfield players, a Secundo Volante. I love the Secundo Volantes on this game. Tackle harder, mark tighter. A holding midfield player who is a deep line playmaker on defend with tackle harder and mark tighter. In the front line, it's an inverted winger on the left hand side with pass it shorter, sit narrow, advanced playmaker attack at cam, pass it shorter, move into channels and tackle harder. An inverted winger with pass it shorter and sit narrow on support on the right hand side, and a pressing forward on attack with pass it shorter. It is a positive mentality tactic, and it is a fairly narrow tactic, overlapping on the wings and through the middle as well. Short passing, higher tempo, work into the box with mixed crosses and be more expressive. So players like Anthony can be doing 600 step overs on this save, no problem at all. And you've got counter press, counter, in transition, distribute to centre backs and take short kicks. Out of possession, we've got the defensive line here. You've got trigger the press much more often and trap inside as the instruction. So will Roberto De Zerbi's tactic do well at Manchester United, or will it flop? Let me know in the comments below as we begin this tactics test. And now we will see how each tactic is done for Manchester United and decide which one is the overall best tactic for Man United on FM23. Third on this list was my favourite tactic, the GYR's Swanzola. And the reason why is because they finished second in the Premier League, which is the highest finish in the Premier League of all of these tactics. But it came down to winning competitions. This tactic was the only tactic that didn't win a trophy in the first season for Manchester United. And as you can see, they got knocked out in the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup by Manchester City, and also the Europa League semi-final, losing to Lazio. All in all, this is a very good tactic to use for Man United, but not the best of this bunch. Second on the list, and this may cause a lot of debate in the comments, is the Roberto De Zerbi tactic. It done not so well in the Premier League, making Manchester United finish 7th. But as you can see, they did get the Champions League football because they did win the Europa League final against Lazio 1-0 to give them Champions League football. So it equaled the Champions League football finish of the Swanzola, but it also gave Manchester United a trophy in the season, and a very good trophy as well. They also got to the Carabao Cup final, losing to Manchester City as well, which is, you know, it's a shame, but there is a major trophy here, and they did finish 7th in the Premier League, hence why I've put it second on this list. The overall winner for me is the Josh Daly Ultimate 4-2-3-1 for Manchester United. It did make them finish 4th, which is the second highest finish in this tactics test in the Premier League, delivering Champions League football, something that Manchester United always want. However, they did also win a trophy as well, winning the Carabao Cup 2-0 against Wolves, so it does deliver a trophy, and narrowly losing out in the Europa League final to Arsenal. Had it also won the Europa League final as well, it would be the clear and consistent winner in this tactics test. It's all very tight, and it could be a pick'em. Let me know what you think the best performing tactic was in the comments below. The links to all these tactics will be in the description as well if you want to try any of these out. And let me know in the comments below which team you want me to try next on picking the perfect tactic for a team in Football Manager 23.